Hello folks, happy November. DAP here with your previews picks for December. For previews issue 374, we have the Marvel, the DC, and of course the main catalog. Not a whole lot this time around, but moving right to it. And actually there's something a little different this time at the end. So, starting with Marvel, now that the Donny Cates Guardians of the Galaxy is finished, Al Ewing is kicking off a series with art by Lon Paul. So I have it marked. I'm definitely going to give it a shot. So it is a first issue. I love that cover. We'll see if it veers into the more traditional Guardians of the Galaxy type stories that folks like Abnett and Lanning gave us, and that are kind of in vein with the movie and things like that. So we, speaking of that, there is the Marvel Select hardcover, Guardians of the Galaxy. Somebody's got to do it. This is out in May, actually, so it's an advanced solicit. But this is by Abnett and Lanning, with art by Pelletier and Paul Pelletier, Brad Walker, Carlos Magno, and Wes Craig. I remember when this series was being launched and introduced and out following the events of Annihilation, and it was a lot of fun. And I am thinking about maybe going in on this hardcover, see how many of these Marvel Selects there may be collecting that run. Finally from Marvel, because it's a Treasury edition. It is the History of the Marvel Universe by Mark Waid, Javier Rodriguez, and a cover by Steve McNiven. And I know Jason has talked about it. He's really been enjoying History of the Marvel Universe. So I have a few people who have been reading it. So I was waiting for something like a nice collection, and now it's happening. And and the fact that it's a Treasury edition is a 9x13 trim size. I'm kind of stoked for that. I think that's going to be really cool. I think it's a really fitting format for this type of thing. So that is it for Marvel, actually, as far as anything new and of note that I want to bring to your attention. Everything else, the usual things, the Magnificent Miss Marvel, the Captain Marvel, the Doctor Strange, all of those are already earmarked and ordered and have already started. So we're not going to bother you with that. I'm only mentioning this because it is a first issue. This is from DC. And because I'm already reading all of these stories that it ties into. But apparently, Clark Kent is going to reveal to the world that he is Superman, or Superman is going to reveal to the world that he is Clark Kent. So, Superman Heroes #1, which is brought to you by Brian Michael Bendis and Matt Fraction and Greg Rucka and Jody Hauser, and art, the framing sequence, I guess. It says the art is anchored by Kevin Maguire, but you also have art by Steve Lieber, Mike Perkins, and others. Again, because of Superman's pal Jimmy Olsen, because of Lois Lane, because I'm already reading the Superman titles, this was kind of a no-brainer for me. If you're not current on the Superman stuff, if you're not reading the tie-in, the accompanying limited series, I don't know if this is going to be something up, unless you're a Brian Hitch completist and you need that cover. This is more for, again, because it's a first issue, because it's a one-shot. I'm not a big fan of the one-shots. It's a one-shot. Not like there's going to be a #2. But because of all that, because of it being an item of note, as far as I'm concerned, that's why it's here. And that's it for the main portion of the DC catalog, because then we're going to jump ahead to Justice League Corporate Maneuvers trade paperback. What's cool about this is that it collects Justice League Quarterly. If you don't know, if you're not familiar, when post Legends, when the Justice League was formed, and it was and gave us the Bwahaha era. It was the Keith Giffen and Jamie Lee Mateus Justice League, with art from the first few issues by Kevin Maguire. It was started off as Justice League, then became Justice League America, and then Justice League Europe, and well, not then. It's just once you had Justice League America, and you still needed the European heroes. You had to spin off Justice League Europe, so they had the two titles. But because Justice League was such I'm gonna say huge hit, and because people couldn't get enough, there were a couple of titles, and even Marvel did this too with the they had Unlimited with Spider-Man, with X-Men. They're basically quarterly issues, quarterly events, and so DC had it with Green Lantern and Justice League, and so the first four, and they were all oversized. They were all like at least 48 pages. They were they had spines on the issues, but Corporate Maneuvers collects the first four issues of Justice League Quarterly. So you have stories by Giffen and Dave Mateus, and of course others. You have art by a bunch of people like Chris Sprouse and Mike McCone and Jason Pearson and Derek Robertson and Marshall Rogers, P. Craig Russell, and more. So yeah, this is not. It's 304 pages, and again, because that's just four issues, so it tells you how many. We're talking more than 48 issues, like 96. These were big issues. So for 304 pages for $25, this is something. These are issues. If you could find them, they're not going to be all that expensive. I'm thinking about getting it just because it'll look cool on the shelf, and I'll just have that collection now, and I can read them whenever I want instead of going through boxes. But these are kind of the things where if you found them in the back issue bins, you get them for a lot cheaper. But yeah, I think it's pretty nifty that they will be collecting those. If you feel like it, I would definitely recommend it. They are some fun and funny and downright entertaining stories. I am also seriously considering, because I know there's not going to be a lot. There aren't going to be many of these in the series, but the Superman, the Man of Steel Omnibus by John Byrne, Volume 1, because it's written by John Byrne, of course, and you have art by John Byrne, but other creators involved include Marv Wolfman and Jim Starlin and Paul Levitz and Jerry Ordway, Arthur Adams, Dan Jurgens, and more. It's $125 retail. Again, and then, as usual, I do not know what the prices are from DCBS. I don't even know. It's only the second. I doubt the site's been updated. But it's 1,152 pages because it collects the Man of Steel miniseries. That's 6 issues right there. But it also collects Action Comics 584 through 593, and Action Comics Annual Number 1. Adventures of Superman 424 through 435, and Annual Number 1. Legion of Superheroes number 37 and 38. Superman numbers 1 through 11, and Annual Number 1. The Adventures of Superman, for those who don't know, that just carried over the renumbering. That was the original Superman series, and when Byrne came on, he got to redo Superman with a new number 1, and that was his title. Superman was his book that he wrote and penciled, and Action Comics was as well. Action Comics replaced DC Comics Presents, which was the Superman team-up book. Action Comics became the Superman team-up book, and that was written and penciled by John Byrne. Superman started was inked initially, the first couple of issues, by Terry Austin. Then Carl Kessel came on. Action Comics was inked by Dick Giordano at first. But Adventures of Superman was written by Marv Wolfman and penciled by Jerry Ordway, and that again, that was so issue Superman um, five. I'm sorry, Superman 423 was the last issue of Superman from going back to way back when. Um, Adventures of Superman 584, 424, because I'm the Action Comics line is so close, so I'm reading the wrong numbers. But Adventures of Superman 424 is the first issue of the post Byrne reboot Superman. Um, so you're getting everything from John Byrne's start, and the Legion of Superheroes is because, well, without Superboy, there's no Legion of Superheroes, and when you have no Legion of Superheroes, but you have a DC universe, it's a multiverse, and things are getting a little confusing and needed to be clarified, and that's where the Legion came in, and Byrne tried to straighten that out and tidy it up a bit. But yes, I am seriously considering getting, because I have most of the issues already. I don't know if it's a, I don't want to say I don't know if it's a double dip worthy thing, but it would be pretty cool to kind of have this all in one cover. I was reading it when it was coming out. It's also going to be a nice stroll down memory lane if I end up with this. So that's it for the big two. We're going to jump right into the main catalog now, starting with Image. And this is The Clock. It's the first of a 4-issue miniseries. It is written by Matt Hawkins, and you have art by Colleen Durant, and I am a big Colleen Durant fan. So the preview pages look pretty cool. I didn't even really bother with the pitch. I saw her name. It's kind of a no-brainer for me right there. So that's one thing I definitely recommend. Sight unseen. I'm easy like that. I read the first issue of Thumbs, and I really enjoyed it. And now you'll be able to get all five issues of Thumbs in one collection. It is written by Sean Lewis, and art is by Hayden Sherman, who did Mary Shelley Frankenstein Hunter or Monster Hunter, and the actually Hayden showed up in a couple places recently, and it's been great to see the art here and there. And Thumbs is a really cool. The issues are thick, but it's 232 pages, 1999. I am looking forward to finishing it. I really liked what I read, and I kind of just let the previews, the review PDFs pile up, and it's something that I've been wanting to get back to, and I'll just be able to finish it. Something else that seems to be a thing are deluxe hardcovers of recently released issues. And IDW's getting in on it with the Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles number 100 deluxe hardcover by Tom Waltz, Kevin Eastman, Dave Wachter, and Matthias Santaluco. And there's actually some bonus content in this. It's 120 pages. It's behind-the-scenes artwork, commentary, rare cover artwork. So you have, you had issue 100 because 102 was solicited this month, and striking while the iron's hot, I guess. I haven't read 100 yet, so I don't know if it's something that I kind of want to double dip on. But if it benefits Dave, I'm kind of into it, and I do love the whole process thing. I'm a fan of the behind the scenes and the bonus commentary in my DVDs and my Blu-rays. So why not with my comics? It's why I read Amazing Heroes and Comics Journal and all the other fanzines. Parker, the Martini Edition, Volume 1. I remember this. I knew this was coming because in Criminal Number 8, Ed Brubaker wrote about it in his back matter. So this is, we have you have the 4 volumes, the 4 adaptations. You have The Hunter, The Score, The Outfit, and Slay Ground, all Darwin Cooks adapting Richard Stark's Parker. And there were the 4 graphic novels, um, and a larger, not quite treasury size, but there was a yes, the man with the getaway face. Um, so this is a prelude to Parker, and then you get. I'm sorry. This was a prelude to. This came out before the Hunter, and it's all been awesome. So the Martini edition collects the Hunter and the outfit, along with the man with the getaway face, and the 7th. Um, I I am seriously considering double dipping on this. It's $99.99 retail, 360 pages. Again, 9 by 13. It's a hardcover, um, and you're getting a ton of content, including illustrations by Darwin and a long form discussion on Parker and Donald Westlake featuring Darwin, Ed Brubaker, and Tom Spurgeon. Um, so it also comes in a slipcase. This is available in April. The Martini Edition Last Call will be released late in 2020, collecting the final stories by Cook. Um, so it's really only going to be the 2 volumes, and I really, really think I am going to splurge and treat myself on it. If you've never read any of the, I don't know, I don't want to say, if you've never read any of the Parker stuff by Darwin, that this is the time to jump on and get this oversized slipcase edition. Try the Hunter. It was absolutely fantastic. The score is really cool too. If you've read Selena's Big Score, it's in that same vein, although with Selena's Big Score is in that Batman universe, whereas this is adapting an old novel. Yeah, it's just super good stuff. But yeah, it'd be nice to have everything collected in just two volumes. From Boom, and actually the Boombox imprint, heavy vinyl, Y2KO, and this is by Carly Uston and Nina Vakuva, and I kind of dug the pitch. I looked at the solicit. The preview pages are pretty cool too. But it's 1999, and Chris is living her dreams, working at Vinyl Destination by day and fighting for musical justice by night in the world's coolest teen girl vigilante fight club, and playing in a band during her free time. Um, it's kind of a cool little nifty hook, and I think I think it's going to make its way into my order. I'm down with that whole idea. Um, three of us talked with Tony Fleece at New York Comic Con, and he talked about Time Shopper to us. This is going to be released by Action Lab. He's writing it. The art is drawn by Christian Misi, and it looks fantastic. When we were all together at Chicago for C2E2, we would watch Buzzer, and Supermarket Sweep was on that game show channel. So this is Mel Brooks' History of the World meets Supermarket Sweep. I do the concept. I really, really like the idea of the whole thing. So, and I love Tony. So it is seriously a no-brainer. He also has something else coming out next year from Image, which looks absolutely amazing, and I can't wait to talk about it, even though some of it's going to maybe bother me. Maybe. But it's all for the purpose of the story. I'm being super vague, and there's a reason. Because can't talk about it. I just know it's coming, and I'm kind of stoked for it, and it looks fantastic. Trust me. Ad House is bringing us this time around In Pieces, someplace which I call home graphic novel, and it's Kurt and Kenny's debut graphic novel, which is a series of short meditative vignettes. Um, I I think it's one of those things where I'm in the mood to maybe try something a little different, or to kind of just um, go for something off the beaten path, and that kind of scratches that itch for me. Um, I ripped this out, and I know I never finished Providence. I haven't finished Providence yet. Not that I never have. I haven't yet. Um, but Alan Moore's the Neonomicon um, collects the Courtyard and Neonomicon, and written by Alan Moore, art by Jason Burrows. You can get the standard edition or the signed hardcover for $10 more. I think with this collection, and possibly with a collection of Providence, I'll be content, and that's why I have that mark, just in case. I think I might be getting a collection of Providence from Lion Forge's Magnetic Press imprint. Nils, The Tree of Life. In a distant future where nature has reclaimed much of the earth, young Niles and his father set out to discover why the ground has recently grown infertile, only to discover a conspiracy between a high-tech neighboring kingdom and the supernatural beings who can offer them eternal life. Just the art looks pretty cool, man. It's written by Jerome Hammond and illustrated by Antoine Carrion. I'm kind of digging it. I really am. It's 184 pages. It's a 9 by 12 hardcover for $29.99. Lion Forge does some fantastic stuff, and I love the look of a lot of it, and they just have some fantastic reprinting, and just curating these European tales. I really really like what they're doing. And that's it for the main catalog book stuff. I before work the other day, when I was flipping through previews, I started with the toy, statues, games section, and sitting in the car with my wife, and I'm flipping through all the toys and the statues and stuff, and she smiled at the Maleficent pop from Funko. The chances are that's going to be gotten. And this I saw at New York Comic Con, and it is um, shoot, and I knew it's from okay, it's Sideshow and Iron Studios. It's they're a DC Comics mini collectibles, the mini Co Hero series lines, and I kept going back and looking at Lobo and Dog, and I swear I'll eventually get the hang of this camera and where it's at. Um, but Lobo and Dog is it's a vinyl figure. I really, really would have liked it to be a little more heavy duty, but it's a really cool looking figure. It retails for $36.99. Um, they all look pretty cool. The Harley Quinn looks cool. The Superman looks cool. Um, but after looking at the MX Massive Lobo, which is gorgeous, and then I turn the corner, I see this little thing. I'm like, well, that's more affordable. Um, that's that that caught my eye, and I smiled every time we were over in the dealer section with the statues and the toys. I smiled every time I saw it. So I probably will end up with it somewhere in here. Um, but that's it, folks. That's it for previews this month. Again, it's not heavy. It's not a lot. Well, I don't want to say it's not heavy. There are some things in here. These collections, the Parker book, the Man of Steel omnibus. There are some heavy, physically heavy things in here, but quantity, the amount of book, um, isn't all that great, and unfortunately, that's not going to it looks like what I'm not getting in quantity, I'm spending. Um, so we'll see. We'll see how things shape out as the month goes on the next couple weeks, and I figure out my order. But man, there are some things in here that look really cool that I really, really want to get. So we'll see how things go. That's it. Onyx and I are out. We will talk to you all soon, and wish you all a fantastic November. You will hear from me as far as previews go um, after Thanksgiving. So hope everybody had a fantastic Halloween. Enjoy the start of your holiday season. For those of us who abide by that, we are setting the clocks tonight. We fall back, so we get an extra hour, which means the day is a little shorter. Gets dark a little earlier, which used to bug me. I would seriously be bogged down with seasonal um, depression, only because of what that meant going home. And hey, I'm not getting into all that right now. So everybody, seriously, enjoy the day. Be good. Night, everybody.